Team Production.
Welcome back to another pristine production, guys. What's up? And welcome to another segment of the show here. And I'm your host, mix engineer Andrew Rayburn here. And remember to check out my website here, pristineproductions.website.com. You can buy my so-called guitar licks, 15 modified MIDI files and sample using any DAW. And of course, the old school gold edition is out. You click on buy now, get that, man. You get a ton of old school samples, of which I'm using right now from the old school. And also, if you want to learn how to mix and master pro dancehall in the box, learn to take raw files to professional level. Radio ready on Spotify. And mixing pro after beat in the box, mixing pro reggae in the box, no one seller, guys. But today, we're going to be talking about balancing a mix here, and I'm going to show you how to get that balance and bring that sound using this old school pepper seed here. So I'm going to bring the track back here. Break down this rhythm here, show how we do stuff. So, welcome to the show, guys, and Happy New Year, by the way, and I'm your host, mix engineer Andrew Rayburn here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we're going to talk about balancing a mix here. We're going to talk about how to attain that balance by simply moving the faders, and we're going to do some mixing, small mixing techniques here to show you how you can control the energy, in relationships with the drums and the music to make this thing sound balanced and professional. So let's get right down into it here. And so let's go ahead here with this rhythm here. And if you want these sounds, these drums, man, these original unmistakable Steely and Clevie sound, be sure to pick up my gold dancehall era, my old school gold era here on my website. It goes for a reasonable price, and you get a ton of these iconic drum sounds. You get over 80 plus drums. So let's go ahead. So we have the hi-hats here, we have the bass here, some claps. So I'm going to break down what I did here with this rhythm here, this Nadine Sutherland style rhythm here. So let's go ahead here. So I'm gonna play the kick drums and the snare and the clap. So this is what I have here. I'm gonna unmute the effects here. Now the first thing I did here is I went ahead and worked on the drum. So let's see what Brother Way did with the kick drum. So here's the kick here. Now, in order to create balance in a mix here, you got to make sure you've treated the drums, you've got the drums tonally where you want them to be. you want to make sure they sound nice and professional here. So this is what I did here. I'm boosting a little bit of 8K here at a hill here. I'm not using the bell, I'm using a shelf go up, and I'm boosting about 3 dB here, and I'm pushing up the beater here at about 3K at 8 dB. I'm pulling down about 300 at 6, and I'm boosting some low end at about 50. So I'm gonna bypass the channel strip, and then the kick drum doesn't sound as inviting here. So I'll put the channel strip back on here. Now I'm getting more punch and a little bit of compression here. I'll take off the reverb here. Now the snare drum, I'm adding a little bit of a 60 at about 10 dB. You might say, Ray, those frequencies you're boosting, man, those are normally not for drums. You might be right, but who says there's rules? You know, the drum, it's a vintage drum. I like the texture, and it actually feels a little bit thicker, a little bit more body, you know, weight. That's all I'm doing here. I'm adding a little bit of weight here with that. I'm gonna mute that there again, unmute that channel strip here. And then of course I have the legendary bass here. Now I want this kind of 808 bass here. It's kind of distorted bass here to sound a little bit more heavy. So this is what I did here. I'm using the decapitator here, and followed by the channel strip. And now these settings, guys, these chains here that I use from time to time, there's no prediction of how I do it. I just grab some whatever I feel. If I feel like bass needs a little bit of harmonic here, maybe I get a little bit NLS or any distortion plugin here. So I'm using the decapitator here. Let me mute all of them here. That's what the bass sounds by itself. So the first thing, I add a little bit more harmonic distortion here with the decapitator here. I'm pushing that up about 3 dB here. Then I'm adding the channel strip here with a little bit of compression here. And filling that out with the pull check here to give it a little bit more weight. Just by the signal passing through the pull tech, it's giving me an awesome amount of body, which I like. I want that modern lift for this old school here. Put it back in the reverb here. And then I have the percussion tin here, which all I'm doing is adding a little bit of LNS. I'm driving that all the way up, off, on, giving it a little bit more present, a little more dynamic. So then I have the iconic piano here. So all I'm doing with the Nadine Sutherland keyboard here, as I like to call it here. Let me turn off the effects here so you can hear what I did with the channel strip here. I need a little bit of brightness, a little bit of 3K, a little bit of 8K, and a little bit of body down at the 90 range here, about 8 dB. So I'm going to play without. It's off. I'm going to turn it back on. I'm getting a little bit more punch here. Combine it with a little bit of the delay and a reverb. I'm getting that old school dub. So let's go ahead now and talk about the balancing here now. So so here we go with the drums. I'm gonna isolate the drums. Now I have the hi-hats here bubbling here. I have nothing on it. And I'm gonna bring down the kick. Now Now when I bring the kick down, it kind of change the feeling. Let's bring in the bass. As you can hear, the bass is a little bit more dominant because I brought down the kick here. You want to push up the kick so you feel that the kick and the bass is as one. That's too loud. You want it just right. I'm gonna pull down the fader for the snare drum and I'll bring it up here so I can show you how bring the balance here. Bring it up. Bring it up. That's too loud. Let's bring it down. You want the balance to sound like it's one band, so you want to bring the snare drum so you kind of similar unison with the levels here. Maybe right about there. Now, when you adjust the snare drum, we're roughing in here, so we have a good balance here. So, but when we bring in the other instrument, including the vocal, then we can that's gonna help predict where the snare drum should sit. Maybe a little more dB down, a little bit higher. But let's see as we bring in the rest of the instruments here. I'm gonna bring in the clap here, or the extra percussion. Bring it up a little bit more. That's like a little bit of filler. And normally I start off with the drums here. Now I'm going to bring in the tin percussion here, the iron here, and this sound right here is the center stage of this old school dancehall. Let's mute it here. Let's bring up the volume here. So I gotta make sure this shines with the vocal here. So let's bring in the drums, the bass. I'm gonna bring up the iron here. Let's bring it up. Right about there. That's too loud. Take it out. You want to make sure it's a little bit above the snare, but it's dominating with the kick well. Now let's bring in the melody. Bring this up. I believe this is the xylophone or mallet here. I'm gonna bring it up. I want this to be heard as well as being dominant with the iron percussion. Now that part is the intro there, so I'm just gonna bring it up. It just plays that little part right there at the intro. Now let's bring in the keyboard here, Nadine Sutherland keyboard. Let's play more of the piano here. Bring the piano up. I want that piano to be iconically sounding here. Now I have that melody or that xylophone playing slightly behind the piano. So we're creating depth here, and we're giving the rhythm a nice balance. So we're going to bring in the vocals here, and then we're going to readjust little things so it blends in. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's bring in the vocals here. Now, when I'm playing the vocal here, I want you to listen to the vocal along with in conjunction with the instruments here. And we want to make sure we're feeling the bass right beside that vocal, and the kick, the iron percussion, and the piano here. Now, when she hit the chorus here, I'm feeling I need to push the piano up, so let's do that. Now, since I've brought up the piano, now I'm feeling I need to bring up the percussion here. So this is how the vocal is predicting now where the instrument should go. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna bring in the backing vocals here as well, so let's check that out. Now we're making a couple, maybe a dB or a dB and a half, the most of the time, just a dB. Bass a little bit. Bring up the kick. We're gonna bring this sound up a little bit more. Especially when she goes on that solo bridge here. Let's bring up that mallet a little bit here. Now I'm listening to the vocal and the snare now, so let's adjust the snare here. Kick up a little bit more. Take the bass up as well. So as we're playing the mix here, we're making adjustments here. When she hits the chorus with the backing here, I felt like the drums need to come up a little bit more kick in your face, so it feels solid. We want to get the vocal, the instrument to rotate around the vocal, right smack in the middle here. We don't want the vocal louder than the instrument. We don't want the instrument louder than the vocal. We just want it in a balanced playing. So all we're doing is using the faders, since we already made a mix. We already mixed the individual instruments here, so there's no problem with phasing or anything like that. So we're adjusting as I go along. You can hear the feeling. Take up that iron a little bit more. bring down the backing a little bit here. I'm going to highlight both of them here. Just a little bit down. Let's go. Bring the lead a little bit down. And so we did a little bit of adjustment here. We've brought down lead just a tiny little bit, probably half dB. The backing vocals about 1 dB. As I noticed, the backing vocals was causing the overall vocals, the lead, to a little bit too loud. Now, what we can do with that now, since we kind of have it at where we want, we can experiment here. I'm going to put in a bus compressor here and kind of glue everything together. And that will help us to achieve a nice finish here. So let's do a little bit of compression here on the mix bus here. And here we go. I'm gonna set the ratio 2:1 so I get a good compression, so that the compressor affects everything. And I'm gonna adjust the attack to softly grab the kick and a little small compression. So let's go ahead and do that here. Go right to the 1. Piano. So now the compressor on the mix bus has given us a bit more glue here, so we can make fine-tune adjustments here. But we have successfully balanced the mix here to where we want it. And you don't want to chase your tail. Once something feels good and it sounds right, there you go. So I'm gonna stop there, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this show. If you want me to mix and master for you, be sure to hit me up on the email here, and be sure to check out my website, guys. So I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one.